Ooh.
Oh, welcome to the Big If. With are we still keeping up this charade of Luther and D'Angelo?
I love my D'Angelo persona. I think it's fine if we just kind of pop back and forth between Kurt and Jeff and Luther and D'Angelo, have a little like pseudonym, a little alter ego type of thing.
I love it. Somehow, some way, that little tributary is going to form into a river, and it will flow the way that we intended it to. So, multiple names, multiple questions on today's Big If. Welcome for all of our listeners in Trinidad and Tobago, in Belgium.
Nigeria.
Oh my gosh, where else? Nigeria. Oh my gosh. It is so nice to finally have the global reach that we've been searching for.
Yeah, and it's overdue. I feel like this should have happened a while ago, but a wise man once
Totally
told
agree.
me that you can't rush art. So, you know, we're coming along. We're gonna get there. I was telling you before we hopped on that we now have loyal listeners on 4 out of the 7 continents. I don't know if Antarctica even counts, so 4 out of 6 ain't bad.
Hey, hold up. Antarctica probably counts for more. Because what else is there to do in Antarctica outside of excavate or if you're there for scientific reasons, I understand. But if you're not, you got time on your hands, I'm guessing. You can listen to these kind of podcasts. So here's my challenge to this podcast. I want to get our numbers in Antarctica. I want to be the number one podcast in Antarctica.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
Sorry, I'm starting a new page here on the old notes, and I need to write this down. For all of our listeners, again, so we're gonna figure out how to get a producer who will take notes and figure all this out and do all this for us, because basically until then I have to stop the show just to write notes. Unless you have something that you want to get off your chest.
No. I like the idea of trying to expand into the different continents. We've obviously got North America on lock. Our numbers are big in both the St. Louis and the Napa area.
Northern California is.
Yeah. I remember there was 1 or 2 sprinkled in Minneapolis, I know.
Oh, I just met a couple from Minneapolis. They were really nice.
And I really wonder, honestly, what made a person in Trinidad and Tobago or in Nigeria stumble upon our nonsense? You think was it Shuby? I hate to keep going back to Shuby. We are not a Shuby podcast, but do you think that's what got him there? Do you think it was the glory hole talk, or what do you think?
I think every great entity stands on the shoulders of the entities before it. And if Shubham Goel is what we become known for, or at least, no. If Shubham Goel is what we become discovered for, and then known for something else, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, sometimes you got to step on people to get to where you're going, and if we have
no, that's.
If we have to
Hold on, I'm gonna write that down.
If we have to step on and over a C-list Netflix reality star to become the number 1 podcast in Antarctica, I have no problems doing that.
What do you think it takes to get to number 1 in Antarctica?
I don't know. What's the population of Antarctica? How many people are down there?
Looking up now. Population.
And also, are there natives there, or is this all scientists?
Yeah, is it? Yeah.
Is there Antarctic people?
Antarctica is a unique continent in that it does not have a native population.
Yeah, I didn't think it would.
There are no countries in Antarctica. Although 7 nations claim different parts of it: New Zealand, Australia, France, Norway, the United Kingdom, Chile, and Argentina. Wow.
Wow.
People are laying claim to Antarctica.
What's the luster there? What do they even want? An iceberg? What are you claiming there? What's the
Yeah, in like 300 years, it'll be like beachfront property, right?
If you were offered $1 million
Mm-hmm.
to spend a year in Antarctica, cut off from the rest of the world, let's say no internet, let's say no television, no smartphone. You have all the amenities you could need in terms of food and drink, and I'll even let you have like access to exercise equipment, any written word, any books that you so desire, but no tech,
But not the internet. Not the internet.
no internet. I'm talking hardcover, paperback books.
Hardcover.
Um, no,
Do
in
you
a,
know how much heavier hardbound books are going to take to carry around in my knapsack down in Antarctica? And
uh,
that kind of cold? Can I at least get a softback book?
yeah, you can mix in the paperback if you can get your hands on them, but you do not have any contact with the outside world. This is a 1 year sabbatical. Um, do you do it? Do you take on the challenge? Do you do it, and could you do it?
Could I do it? No. Do I do it? No fucking chance.
You don't even.
Not for a million. Not for $1 million. Look, I know $1 million is a lot of money. I know that.
Sure.
$1 million is a lot of fucking money.
Hmm.
I've never held $1 million. I've never actually seen I could Google $1 million and see like what it looks like in cash, maybe. But I've never held or seen $1 million, and I acknowledge that it's a lot of money. That being said, it is. There's no fucking chance that I'm basically going to what do they call it in prison when you're by solitary?
Solitary
It's
confinement.
basically a country of solitary confinement that you're talking about, where I don't have access to the outside world. I'm in Antarctica, where I'm sure like the daylight switches are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no chance for $1 million to waste a year of my life. No, there's no. Now, let's start talking about what that number might be. Maybe like
10.
I was gonna say 50.
Yeah.
Is that
I mean, for 50, I'm doing it, no
50
doubt,
million?
and I'll figure it out.
50 million? And okay, let me ask you this: you have 50 million on the line, and you're 275 days into this thing.
Yeah.
And I know you. You are obviously a very disciplined human, right? Like you have changed and affected your life in different ways in over the last year that it is astounding, and I feel like it's due to willpower and strength of mind.
Thank you.
But you're 200. Yes, of course. Thank you for the inspiration. But you're 275 days into this fucking solitude in the most inhospitable continent on planet Earth
Yeah.
that planet Earth can imagine.
Hmm.
And you're going, I just want to talk to somebody. I just want to. I just want to hear my. I want to hear my nieces.
Nephew.
I want to hear my nephew's voice, or see a photo of how. I wonder how he's doing. Or my mom might want to know what's going on in my mind. Yeah, there. What would it take? You don't you don't think you would break for even with $50 million on the line?
I mean, if I make it to day 270 and I've just got 3 months left, I think I'm powering through. And I'll tell you right now, you offered me $10,000 right now, I'll never see my nephew again. and I don't even have to go to and I don't even have to go to Antarctica for that. Lauren, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but $10,000 and Hayden and I never see each other ever again. Maybe less.
$10,000.
Maybe less. Maybe a grand.
What's your relationship like with your nephew?
Spotty at best.
Hold on. $10,000, and I can basically purchase the rights to you and your nephew's relationship, is what you're telling me. For life.
Yeah. I mean, he was born in May, so at this point, I guess he's coming up on he just turned about 5 months old, and I have I have probably seen him single digit times, which
Okay.
which I don't love. I'm not proud of that necessarily, but life gets busy. I see him at family events. I don't know. He hasn't really. He's kind of. I feel he's given me the cold shoulder. He doesn't say a word to me when I'm around. So it's like if you're not going to talk to me, I really don't have shit to say to you either. Got a little bit of an attitude, and I'm willing to.
He's 5 months old. He's probably pissed off about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things coming at him.
The life.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine for like 3 seconds how much is coming at you? You just came into existence,
Yeah.
and now like you've got all this stuff that you don't know how it moves. You can't. You're not even strong enough to balance your head on your fucking shoulders.
Yeah.
And you got all these questions, but you can't even express yourself because you don't know the language. I get pissed off when I can't express myself in the morning before coffee.
Yeah, so that's got to be amplified as a 5-month-old that really just wants the tit and somebody to wipe his shitty ass.
I guess all I'm saying is maybe cut him a little slack for the next 5 months, just for the next 5 months.
I'm not a kid guy. I'm not a baby guy. I don't want them myself. I've felt very strongly about that for over a decade now.
Is it due to your time as a teacher that really solidified that, or have you always not wanted children?
I've always been like that. My whole relationship with my ex-wife, we were on the same page about that. We never had any intention of having kids, and when we met, I was teaching high school, so I hadn't really been exposed to little kids a whole lot, and I taught elementary 5 to 10 year olds for 7 years. And I like to think I was doing a pretty good job. One of my stronger suits was the relationships I built with those kids. They seemed to really like Senior. And that was fine for little 30-minute chunks. But I'll be honest, it's a selfish thing because I love my free time. I love my downtime. And I don't have any desire to spend that. I don't want to work all day and come home and the real work is just getting started. So I have mad respect for parents in general that do a good job, but especially, well, I don't know how teachers come home after teaching other people's kids all day and then the most important job of teaching your own really gets going. I have no desire to do that. And I'll tell you this, I know you don't have kids, but you've got how many nieces and nephews do you have at this point?
6.
6 nieces and nephews, and they range in age from what to what?
Junior in high school to almost first grader.
Okay, so
maybe a first grader. Leo, I have one nephew. He's the youngest of the whole bunch. I think if he's not in first, yeah, he's probably first grade.
all right.
7.
Okay, so you've had nieces and nephews for 16 or 17 years now if you've got a junior in high school. Have you, in the course of that time,
I guess, yeah.
Have you
Sorry, go ahead.
have you changed a dirty diaper?
No.
You have not.
No, have you?
I have never, And I honestly, it's going to sound really silly, but I have a goal in life to never change a dirty diaper. Never, ever, ever. I want to die never having changed a diaper. And I think I can do it.
And so,
Don't want to do
and
it.
so, well, what is it about? I understand that like no one wants to clean up after someone else's shit,
Yeah.
but I am kind of curious how your D'Angelo's parents, how do they react around? Are they just overflowed with joy? What is their reaction?
To my nephew,
Yeah,
they're head over heels, especially my dad.
they love them.
Yeah, my dad has shown more tenderness and affection in the 5 months that this nephew of mine has been alive than he ever showed to my sister or I in the 30 in the 37 and 34-year olds or 37 and 34 years respectively that we've been alive.
Oh my god!
I mean, you know my dad, and my
I
dad,
know your dad.
he's a sports guy. He's not as crude as I am, but he can be crude and whatever. But I've seen him interact with his grandson, and he's great at talking in the baby voice, and just it's a side of him that I don't ever remember being thrown in my direction.
Right.
I know you
There
don't.
were different expectations on you than what are on Hayden. Is his name?
Hayden, yeah, Hayden
I
Harms.
love that name. Hayden Harms.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I? Sorry. Okay, keep going.
No, but my dad's over the moon. He's in love. Mom is too. Mom's not as affectionate of a person. I know she watches him Monday through Friday from like 8 to 4 because both of
Wow.
my sister and her husband work. So props to my mom for being in her 60s and basically spending 8 hours a day raising her grandbaby. I'm sure my sister really appreciates it. I know childcare is not cheap, so mom obviously loves it too. I think it tires her out a little bit because she's putting in the hours. But yeah, they're over the moon. They love the dude. And I do too. I say a lot of these things in jest. I'm super happy for Lauren and her husband, and I'm just not a baby guy. I never have been. People in my life, especially now that I've kind of entered some new phases of my life and new beginnings and things are changing, whatever, what have you. People are like, "Oh, you're going to want to have one." And each time they say that, one of my coworkers will come in with some horror story of being up in the middle of the night and getting thrown up on and screaming kids and ear infections and I,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean you're raising a human.
the best birth control one could ever encounter is listening to other people talk about the difficulties in raising their children. If they think they're gonna influence me to have them by the way they talk about what they deal with on a day-to-day basis, they are sadly mistaken.
So, if I had literally had well, I guess in rounders they would call it
Yeah.
one stack dangling in front of you, you'd be like, bye bye, you're never gonna know your uncle again.
Yeah, I would take the bag and run, my friend.
Well, speaking of taking the bag and run, I just learned something new about my co-host today. Oh, is this a new energy drink?
No, it's a little late for that, but it is a new drink, and
What is it?
let me turn the label and face it. I'll describe it to our listeners, but this is
The
Guinness
Guinness?
Guinness Zero, a non-alcoholic draft. It's non-alcoholic Guinness in a can. It's ice cold from my fridge. Um,
How is it? Do you like the taste?
well, we're gonna do a quick pour here.
I've got a decent little Cabernet called Dow. It's a cab from Paso Robles, and it's You know, it's at all of the grocery stores, so it's a nice little easy one to open because it's always at your grocery store. Oh, you've got that Phil groomsman glass.
Oh yeah, that is the groomsman glass from our buddy Phil's wedding.
I've got that too. Not on me right now, but it's in our cabinet. It's a regular use.
While that foam settles a little bit, what were you at? What were you saying you learned about me today?
I learned that you, my friend, are heading south of the border
Mm-hmm.
for a little excursion, a little get to know myself, a little hey, this is a test of my ability to enjoy myself and love myself quest. You staked that out for yourself today.
I did. I took the first step in making that happen. I've been talking about treating myself to a little vacation time for a while.
Love it.
I've really put my nose to the grindstone all spring, summer, and here at the beginning of the fall, you know, working some long hours on certain days, trying to stack away some cash. And I knew that the schedule was going to start to calm down a little bit at the end of October, beginning of November. So for a few months now, I've been putting cash in a little fire safe box in my house. Call it the vacation fund. And when it comes to this kind of thing, I am a little bit of a, I don't really take action. I'm a little bit of a, maybe there's something to be said for being scared to commit to things, what have you. But I've been talking about taking a trip, and I've looked at flights and I've looked at lodging, and I just never booked anything. And then even last night, I found some relatively reasonably priced flights, and I went to bed having not done anything about it. And this morning I got up early. I was having a good pump session, good lift, and
Ooh, you're pumping.
yeah, and in between sets, I fired up the old Southwest app, and we booked ourselves a flight going to Tulum, Mexico, baby.
Ooh.
hmm Yeah, so booked the flight this morning. Just kind of said fuck it and booked it. I saw a good price. The flight home is a nonstop, which is a little bit hard to find, St. Louis to Mexico. So I booked it. I leave November 14th. I'm doing 4 nights instead of a full week, which I think, considering I'm going by myself, is a smart move. I've never done any sort of solitary travel. I've never seen the movie Eat, Pray, Love, but this kind of feels like my opportunity to have a little, a little Eat, Pray, Love trip. I'm gonna do an
You
Airbnb.
were talking about, yeah. Oh, you're doing Airbnb.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Are you staying in someone's room or are you getting the whole place yourself?
I think I'm gonna get a little condo or a little apartment just to myself. I don't do the share a room thing or a room in a
You know what
house. So
I was thinking about this because we were texting about this a little bit today. You were asking about surfing, like you're
yeah,
looking for things to do. I mentioned whale watching. I had another idea
what do you got?
that may, I don't know if it's up your alley or not. Because you work in the restaurant industry, you probably run a lot, but what if you found like a little cooking class or something
Yeah,
to check out?
it actually came across when I was kind of looking up some things to do down there. I got a list of. I've got a little preliminary list. Can I share it with you?
Please.
All right. So far I've got scuba slash snorkeling. I'd like to go scuba diving down there. I've worn scuba equipment once. I did it in a pool. It was not in the open water, so I would like to go on a guided like snorkeling experience, either in a cenote or in the Gulf or the ocean. I'm not good with geography. I don't know which it is. I think it might be the Gulf. So my
Well,
first,
wait, scuba or snorkeling or is it or both?
I put scuba slash snorkeling. I would prefer to scuba.
That's the one that takes like the time to figure out, right? Snorkeling is just like you got the tube going.
Sure. Yes. Scuba's the air tank. You're underwater. It is an interesting thing to have your body realize that you can breathe underwater, so you can just kind of breathe normally. That takes a little getting used to, but that's the first
It's
thing on my
crazy.
list. The second,
Scuba diving is fucking crazy.
that is crazy that you could just basically just be a fish.
Someone, who do you think, who, I know that a lot of, there's a large contingency of, uh, what is it, Tibetan Tobago,
Trinidad, Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad
Yeah,
Tobago,
we're huge
that
there.
scuba dives. We're huge there, and I know there's a lot of scuba divers there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, but how do you get into scuba diving, bro? Like, how do you, like, breathe? Do you want to breathe underwater? Is it this idea of breathing underwater?
I don't know. I mean, the under the ocean is fascinating to me, and it's absolutely terrifying. I've heard that we know more about outer space than we do what's beneath down under the in the ocean, which is a little bit scary.
Scares
Um,
the shit out. Ocean scares me.
so yeah, but I'd like to go scuba diving. Item number two on my list, you mentioned it. I'd like to take a surf lesson and attempt to get up on a surfboard and catch a wave.
And you're going down to Tulum, which is that the Baja California area, or is that like the Gulf side?
It's the Gulf side. It's
Okay,
I'll fly into Cancun, and then I will catch I believe it's called the ADO. I don't know what that stands for, but it's the bus line that runs from Cancun down the Yucatan Peninsula to Tulum. It's cheap, it's air conditioned, it's comfortable. It'll be about an hour and a half ride. I've done it a couple times before, so I know the lay of the land with that. But yeah, it's about an hour south of where you were in Mexico with me for my
gotcha.
stuff a while back.
Okay,
I don't know how successful I'll be at getting up on a board.
it's a balance thing.
It's a balance thing. I think starting tomorrow, we're going to do a lot of work on the Bosu ball at the gym. Start trying to get
Gonna work on that contact balance, huh? Like Saquon.
and core strength, because it's something I want to do. I want to give it a shot.
I
Um,
bet she'll get up on the board.
I want to do.
And the reason I was asking about the size is like, do you think you're gonna wear a wetsuit, or since it's the Gulf side where I guess it's a little warmer,
Yeah.
are you gonna go? Are you gonna forego the wetsuit?
That'll be a game time decision. I was looking. I think I can look at temperatures like
That
somewhere.
won't be a game time decision. That will be a company that you're going with decision.
Yeah, they'll probably decide it for me, but it'll be.
They'll probably figure it out.
But I think I'm looking at average temperatures around 83 degrees around the
Oh,
time.
it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. The third is to go visit a cenote that I haven't been to. If you're not familiar, cenotes are these underground, naturally made sinkholes that are all throughout the Yucatan Peninsula. I
Ooh,
think I think there's some knowledge out there that says that they were made from maybe the Big Bang created all of these.
ooh.
I've been to them before. They're natural sinkholes, just kind of they're scattered everywhere. But there's some cool, very Instagrammable cenotes out there, and I'd like to check out one that I have not been to before.
Nice.
I
All right.
also want to take a trip to the Tulum Jungle Gym. This is a Fred Flintstone inspired type gym where all the weights are made out of stone and wood, and it's outdoors
Oh,
right
that's
on the
cool.
beach. Yeah, that's cool. I want to visit some Mayan ruins. I've done that before, but I might rent a car and go check out Chichen Itza. I haven't been to that, and I'd always like to do
Ooh.
that.
That's like one of the big ones, right? That's one of the eighth wonders.
Yeah, and then I've got a yoga class on the beach. I know there's a thing down there
You
where
gotta do that.
you go and you do like an hour long yoga session right on the beach, and then you walk up the boardwalk, if you will, and they do like a coffee tasting type thing right after that.
Whew.
Yeah, and
That sounds awesome. A coffee tasting?
yeah, or something along those
Oh
lines.
my gosh, dude, you got to do that.
And then this one, and I'm not sure about this one. It was just kind of stream of consciousness, and I even put a question.
Ugh.
I even put a question mark after it because I'm not sure, but I put tattoo question mark.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. I've been to Tulum twice before. Like I said, never by myself. So I'm gonna do some things and see some things that I've probably done and seen before. But my goal is to do at least three things that I have never done before, and surfing and scuba diving would knock two of those off the list. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I just got to lock down some lodging, work on some logistics. I'm going to try to do, as you know, over 400 days sober now, and I have no intention of ruining that down in Mexico. So this will also be the first vacation where I'm doing it all just sober, just clear headed, and
yeah. I was gonna say. So when I was a young man, at the ripe young age of 23, maybe, my first job enabled me to take a vacation in January, like mid-January,
okay,
when it was cheap to fly, and I went down to Puerto Vallarta by myself. It was to an all-inclusive, and so I was there to drink margaritas and smoke weed and enjoy my like have fun more that way. But I did enjoy things like zip lines and whale watching, and I took cabs into the city to hang out and drink more, of course, and so it was a lot of getting fucked up based,
yeah.
which isn't necessarily the motivation these days. And I don't know. I think it's going to be a fantastic trip for you.
And
And actually, oh, go ahead.
no, you finish, and then I got one more thing to add to the checklist.
Well, yeah. Okay. Oh, perfect. I was going to say, and with that, I think we should kind of conclude.
All right. Well, I'll leave you with this. The one thing that's not on the checklist, but it just popped into my head, and it might be the most important one on there.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about Latinas,
Fucking bitches.
and it doesn't even have to be plural. It can be singular. But
No.
I would like to bed at least one local Mexican senorita while I'm down there.
How local?
I don't give a fuck where she lives. If she's Mexican, that's fine with me.
Okay.
And
Mexican.
that's never really been an option before for me, and it's absolutely on the table this trip. I don't have the alcohol to hide behind, so it might be a tough
And
mountain to climb. But
neither will she. I feel like she's going to be this. She's going to be like the daughter of the restaurant owner that you decide to go to on a whim because you're like, I just did yoga and coffee in the morning and a coffee taste in the morning. Like, I feel more present with the moment than I maybe ever have in my life, and this foreign land, and all of a sudden this one Mexican senorita just captivates you. And
she's the
she
man.
says, I've been sober for about 400 days. I don't, things just, my life took a turn, and I hope that's okay. Oh, my wife's home. I gotta go. Happy Big Iffin.
All right,
Love you, buddy.
we'll catch up soon.